Hey, gang. Now that one tank is emptied and the other is refilled, let's continue with part two.
Mhm.
So, what is a stupid question today?
Well, then let me ask it.
And I talked
What do
over you,
you
so go ahead.
what that's okay. What do you anticipate the answers to be of the attraction? I mean, I know we've talked a little bit about this before, but let's put it out there as a serious question this morning or this afternoon, wherever we are. What do you anticipate the attraction to be?
I suspect, and I'm only answering this because I presume that a large portion of our audience, on some level, agrees with us in that, okay, Trump might not be as good as what he was in 2016, but I suspect the responses are going to be very general, which means very uninformed,
Mhm.
very unresearched, with, as a result, zero citations.
Okay.
They're going to say what he tried to do for the country. Meanwhile, I've got a Facebook meme that I just captured the other day that I'll read it to you. Um, um, Let me dig here real quick. Here we go. Donald Trump didn't lower your taxes. He didn't get your roads fixed or your bridges built. He didn't get you health care coverage, lower the price of prescriptions, decrease the deficit, end the opioid crisis, revive the coal industry. He didn't make, quote, COVID disappear, didn't make Mexico, quote, pay for the wall. He didn't put, quote, America first. And he sure as hell didn't drain the swamp. So when you say he fought for you, you mean he validated your hate
Whoa.
because he didn't do a damn thing for you other than that. He hates who you hate. And sadly, that's all you think you need.
Wow. Now, will you be reading that to your Trump, the people who call into you as a challenge?
No, and I don't know how I would accept it. Maybe it would be as a call in as well. But I obviously have to say, this show is not only live but it's also recorded.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking, put the email out, news NEWZ at
Hmm.
yergz.com.
Yep.
Um, but I would take them during the radio show, sure, and go back and listen to that, um, as an immediate note taking source. Um, but yeah, my first thing was, what would be his appeal?
Hmm.
And what do you think of the vast number of actual experts who spoke out against him? Most of his cabinet, most of his senior staff,
Hmm.
the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, his chief of staff, all of those people not only refused to endorse him in 2024, but have endorsed not voting for him in 2024.
So the people in the know or the people in the business are not supportive, but what do you believe your listeners will provide you with as reasons for their support?
I'm thinking at because I've been, like so hard on Republicans for the past 8 months, 9 months since the
Hmm.
podcast came out, and now the radio show.
Hmm.
I think there is a rubber stamp that I'm liberal
Okay.
when they have no idea I've got more guns than they do. and mine are spread out around the country
Mhm.
at strategic locations. That's not even including the ones in my bedroom closet. And that I've actually read the Bible cover to cover. You know, liberals aren't really known for that, although I can think of immediately 3 Democratic presidents that were very church going and
Yep.
one Republican that's not. Thinks that in fact, his exact words were, "What a scam that is," with regards to religion.
Mhm.
Clinton, Obama, and Biden, very church going presidents. I've been to church with all
Not to
3 of them.
mention Carter. Not to mention Carter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know if you. I don't know how. Mhm. So he would have. Trump would have would have handled stopped the Civil War. He would have had the ability to negotiate with the Confederates, and there would not have been civil war. He says most recently that he would have done a better job than Lincoln. In other words, I mean that's the latest. That was this
that's what he'll
morning's
tell you.
news. Yes, that was this
But
morning's
here's
news.
here's the other
And I
thing why
wonder,
I think.
and I keep thinking, what would you have done? To would you have just what would you have done? Offered the Northerners money so that they would have said, "Oh, okay, slavery's fine because I'm making money here, and I don't care morally speaking." I mean, is that is that would that have been his approach? Do you suppose?
Well, you're talking about a guy that was sued for discrimination against black people with regards to his housing projects.
Hmm. So give the northern business people enough money, and the anti and the and slavery's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wonder what his approach would have been to to avoid the Civil War. Unlike Lincoln, it would have been really kind of interesting to see what his negotiation tactics might have been. But
well,
that's a silly thing.
um, possibly something different than what happened because James Longstreet, one of the top generals under Lee, said the tactical error that the South made was that they should have first freed the slaves and then fired on Fort Sumter. Because they're as Southerners, their issue wasn't as much maintaining slavery.
Correct.
I mean, this whole bullshit about asking Nikki Haley what started the Civil War.
Right.
Why
Right.
the
Right.
fuck do you care? It's 150 years ago. She's not running for that presidential spot. She's running for this one. That's like asking Dennis Kucinich if he still believes in aliens.
Hmm.
You're just saying you're not taking him serious as a candidate.
Right.
So you're asking him some embarrassing question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why would some kid, come up and say, unless he was planted or unless he just wants to be a smartass?
Hmm.
Did it start the Civil War? No, it didn't. Was it a huge issue? Yes. And if not right away, it sure as hell was with the Emancipation Proclamation.
Hmm.
But Longstreet said we should have freed the slaves, then fired on Fort Sumter. Because he recognizes that there's compromise. Just because they freed the slaves. I mean, look at it. Look at it now, 150 years ago.
Hmm.
Do blacks really have the same level of equality as whites? Maybe on paper. But let's look out on the street and see how that works.
Hmm.
So he still would have had dirt cheap labor had the slaves been freed, which is exactly what there was. They were paid like a couple pennies a month. I think minimum wage sucks now.
Mhm.
And so, um, all because for the South, the real issue was states' rights.
Mhm.
And for the North, it was maintaining, preserving the Constitution, which means federal is higher than state. And that just takes it right back to January 6th.
And
Is not
to the
necessarily a battle between states' rights and the federal system, so much as it is just preserving the Constitution. And if this wasn't as serious of an issue, I think this is another reason why it's good that the Supreme Court has taken it
Mhm.
in the emergency route. If this wasn't as serious of an issue, why is it beyond just Colorado? Do you know there are 15 other lawsuits pending right now
Yep.
to keep Trump off the ballot? It's not just because some political activist group wants to get their, name in the paper.
Mhm.
It's all with and that other judge who I think was out of line to make this ruling, but the one that first said he can be on the ballot, but he did commit insurrection. I think it was also Colorado, actually. She said that he is guilty of insurrection, but because the Constitution doesn't specifically say the president, he can be
Yeah, I
on the
don't
ballot.
think that. Yeah, I don't think that's Colorado. I think that, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't
wherever
remember.
that was the ruling, that because he wasn't on he wasn't named specifically in the
Right,
Constitution.
right. I think that's another state.
But
Maybe.
what is any
Hmm.
officer?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It also doesn't say any officer but the president.
Right. 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 Well, we certainly do live in interesting times, and it will be. Uh, it's going to be a long year in that regard. So I wish
Yes, so
you
his whole the
success
whole
in
yeah.
attracting your
Thank you.
Trump supporters. Yeah. And I'm
I'm
really
excited
eager.
to learn from it.
Yeah, I'm eager to know what you learn. And I suspect, as we've talked about before, that, that his supporters see him to be, for lack of a better word, more macho than Joe Biden, and therefore stronger and willing to stand up for them, where Biden is just too, what, boring.
Yeah, I guess
So
lowering the insulin rate, lowering the price of
yeah,
insulin, getting everybody jobs,
yeah,
keeping
yeah.
inflation down.
No,
I guess
I
that's
think
not
people
macho at
are.
all.
Nope, it isn't macho at all. It's boring.
Then what about this? We talked about this a couple weeks ago when I talked about his confidence, and a
Okay,
reporter on the South Lawn asked him about a pending in not well, I almost said indictment, a pending
impeachment,
impeachment.
and he
He looked
said,
away
"Good
from
luck."
the reporter. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not macho.
No, it's
I
not.
can't think of something that can be.
No, because it's only
eh,
2 words. It's not an hour and a half of busting, of ranting and raving and
Only words.
threatening
What
and
has Donald Trump
threatening.
done besides words?
Well, all I'm saying is people they don't see, they they don't see, they don't feel the the impact of what Biden has done, but they are aroused by the demagogue. Words
Yeah.
mightier than the sword. So, and I don't think I just don't think, God love him, and I do. I just don't think Biden has it in him to be the entertaining macho strongman that attracts a lot of Trump supporters. I honestly, I he's a celebrity. And as you said, so give him a program. And I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
can't we entice him to have his own something in exchange for, I guess there isn't much more bigger attraction than being the president of the United States. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. And that's it exactly. He never wanted to win in 2016 in the
no,
first place.
no, he wanted
And
the
a lot of
attention.
people refuse to accept that.
Right.
They don't know what I know.
Hmm.
They don't know that when he took the lead, because Hillary was leading most of the night, but that when he took the lead, Melania got pissed off.
Right. Right.
I have friends that told me his exact words were, "Don't worry, we'll never beat Hillary."
Hmm. Yeah.
And if you
But
saw him
then
that week,
once he got in there, he
oh
enjoyed the
yeah,
fruits of the popularity, of the power, and he can't lose. And so nothing else matters except the winning part. So how can we make him a winner without making him president?
uh, have him buy a golf course in North Korea
I know. I know.
and then lose his passport.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we've probably wrapped up at least an episode here. What do you think?
Yeah, just over 42 minutes of January 6th bitching.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we should just announce who we are and call it
Yeah,
a day. I'm
yep.
Jane Stahl,
And I'm Yergz.
and this is Both
Both
Sides Now.
sides now. Thanks, everybody. Let us know what you think. Okay, you had said that we may have to stick with one today. Are you under a time constraint?
Well, I thought I needed to transport somebody um,
Okay.
during the afternoon, and I didn't know when that was going to happen, but I don't think that's an issue right now. So, if we have
Okay.
something else to talk about, we can certainly go ahead and do that.
Okay.
It's up to you. I
Uh,
know maybe you were planning, since I said that, to do something else this afternoon, which is fine, and we can catch up
no.
tomorrow.
I'll still have time. I got to work on getting Zach into college today, but I can.
Right.
So I still have time for another episode. Um. Yeah. So what to talk about next? I mean,
Well, we have a couple of things
that
that
kind of
we
gets
were.
that kind
Go
of
ahead.
gets draining though. Just talking about January 6th and
Doesn't
realizing the
it?
comparison to things like the Civil War and September
Yeah.
11th and things of that
Yeah.
nature. I'm like, and David's right. I keep referring back to David, but God bless him. This country needs his podcast.
Hmm.
Um,
But it's honestly,
the
Yergz,
information
it's
deficit.
it's it's an addiction, and
Yeah,
until things fall apart totally, and we're not close to that. Until things fall apart, it's not going to change. I mean,
I
truly,
think
the
the
country
one
is
thing.
addicted to its hate. It's addicted
Yeah,
to this negative attention. It's addicted to it. And I don't see it changing.
I think there's one thing that's going to bring us back together,
What is
and it's
that?
probably one of the worst things that could happen.
Oh,
People start making more money and they start living the success that is this current successful economy. Because all I'm seeing is, on one hand, this stat is up, this stat is up, this
oh, I
stat is
know.
up. This
Yeah,
is the
I
best
see it
economy
too.
we've had, and then
Yep.
and then over here, I'm seeing people bitch about the price of eggs
Yes.
when in fact they're down.
Yes, I know. I know. And that's
So
why I'm
if we
saying
get
to you,
these people, like you said earlier, buy them out. If we get these people more money,
they'll stop.
the problem with that is it's going to, you know, inflation's going to skyrocket.
Hmm.
I can't pay you more money and drastically
Hmm.
cut my costs at the same time.
Exactly. It does not work that way. Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
so we keep
Yep.
all wanting to have everybody get, paid more money, paid more money, paid more money, and we don't want to spend it. That's just
Right.
no.
It's crazy. Yeah. It won't work. So,
But I think
anyway,
that that's
so
that's the only way those people are going to see it is that if they also make more money,
mhm,
and then the next president, holy shit, I ain't running that year
mhm,
because by that point things are going to be in a downward cycle,
mhm,
and Biden's not going to take the hit for it
mhm,
because nobody's going to see it during the Biden administration.
mhm. Exactly. Yep. So, anyways, talking about topics, next topics, we had put off what a successful podcast uh, um, must do. We have put off top 10 problems of podcasts. We were going to talk about, or one of the things that came to mind, and I forget what the motivation was, that we were going to talk about religion, but I'm not prepared to talk about that today. So I don't
There's
have.
one, and I kind of found this was um, one of the host companies that I first started out with for the
Hmm.
internet radio station. It
Hmm.
didn't work out because I couldn't get the whole system to work, and maybe it was also an issue of the error between being or the issue being somewhere between the chair and the keyboard. But there's a company, a British company called radio.co, not .com, just .co,
Okay.
that helps people like me get into internet
Okay.
radio. I still get their newsletters, and this isn't necessarily the top 10 mistakes that we make, but it's 5 things that we can do better as presenters, as what they
Hmm.
call it, as opposed to DJs, because we don't play records. So there's no disc. Um, and it actually mentions Howard Stern. So um, I can forward this to you if you want to lead us through this, or I can, and just uh, see, ask what you think on each one. It's up to you.
Okay.
But
So I
this
need
is
some
this
time
is
to
the
digest it. You want to send it to
um,
me and then we
not
record tomorrow?
um, yeah, we can do that.
That will give me some time to
That's fine.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe come up with
I
some
will forward
stories that
you
are
this
related.
one.
Okay. And we can try again tomorrow
I
at
did
noon.
already. So usually, I just scrolled up to the top and I CC'd myself on having forwarded it to you already. So
Okay.
usually, I always
Then
hate
I have
when I
read
said,
it.
"Hey, I never got your email," and
Yeah.
I never got your email, and they re-forward it to me by sending the one that they sent me the first time. Like
Yeah.
when they
Yeah. Yeah.
CC,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
send me the sent copy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to do
Try
that
and
to you.
find it.
It was
I've
from
read it.
January 2nd,
I read it.
and I am going to CC myself, so it goes back to the top of my inbox.
Second. Here's it. Okay. This isn't the one about the mistakes, but it's also a good discussion. 20 golden presenter rules.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it went away again, damn it.
Yeah, and I only saw the first 5. I don't know if this scrolls down to 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10,
Well,
or
there were five below that for some reason, but
yeah,
I've
right.
now lost it. Damn it. Okay, so prepare beforehand, be authentic, talk to one person, like talking to a close friend. Have something to say. Air check shows. Review shows for next time. For the rest, check these 20 ways to be a great presenter.
Hey, gang, we did it again. We talked long enough to create an episode before actually starting the episode. So, this will be an intermission. Take your bathroom break, refill your coffee or cocktail, and we'll see you back here for part 2.